Hello, my name is Sophie, and I'm going to be presenting my final major project development. So a quick summary of my project proposal. I first began by reviewing previous projects from previous cycles. So for the first cycle, we explored the theme of who am I. We explored interests, and from those interests and connected to our pathways, we came up with different themes. The theme that I came up with was African representation in mainstream media. Then we looked at the theme of where am I? We're given a photography mini brief. I explored the theme of unusual perspectives. I took photographs from under furniture around my house. And then while we experimented with Photoshop, and I took various pictures of my family members, and I edited them over places in my home. From this activity and reflecting, I thought about media and representation and how it plays a role in society. With this, I also felt connected to who I was and where I came from. Therefore, I put some of the ideas that I came up with from these cycle was identity in media, issues like the Western perspective, and African features from taking pictures of my family members. And then for the second cycle, we explored the theme of what am I? Here we selected a found object from our homes. Then I selected a theme of time passing. I thought of procrastination as a way of wasting time, how time passes very quickly. And then I did a survey on procrastination. And as a result, I made a film / documentary. From this, I learned how sending a survey, how using a survey can help you inform or understand your audience better. I also put a pin in that. I also said, and to use it to explore further. So the final major project, media and filmmaking brief, I highlighted the important aspects of the brief. So the objective of the final major project is to explore and express your ideas through your pathway by selecting a theme between sustainability or media diversity, and as an outcome either between a film or a magazine. So in terms of a theme, because of the type of words and different ideas that had come from my project proposal, I felt I resonated more with media diversity. And at this stage, I had not selected a final outcome. So as time progressed, I felt that I would explore more on media diversity and eventually land on a final outcome. So so for my mind map / brainstorm, I picked some of the key sentences from my project proposal, and I tried to piece them together and connect them to my theme. So I explored themes of like who am I, my personal identity. I came up with the topic of I live in Africa, I'm African, therefore, what makes me African, and how there's a limited narrative of Africans or Black people or people of color in general in media, and how there's no diversity. So I tried to kind of organize my thoughts and my mind to try and come up with a solid theme. And as a result, I still felt that I would continue exploring the topic of identity and representation. So the first step that I did was look at ArtsThread, which is a website that has students' portfolio work, and which I thought would be a helpful tool for me to understand the final outcomes much better. So I looked at a film by Mathilde Taylor. This artist mainly focuses on the body and movement, mainly through dance. From her work, I found her framing technique interesting. As a result of this, she's able to communicate her messages clearly. Then the second person, which I thought I would be able to use in my future outcome. Then the second artist I looked at was Dana Tohidi. She created a magazine called Plaster Magazine. The main goal of the magazine was to create an inclusive platform where young people can use to express their fashion. So from this, I mainly like the aesthetics of the magazine, the colors, the font, the organization, the composition. I also got inspired by the goal and the intention behind the creation. I'm trying to connect back to the identity and representation. Next, I looked at my audience and the demographic. I thought that I wanted to target the young people and teens, mainly because it's a period in time where people are trying to find their purpose and the part that they play in the world. And media plays a huge role in informing their opinions about themselves. So I felt, and also I wanted to continue looking at my personal identity and trying to connect it to the world. So it's young people, but Africans and Black people. So in terms of young people, I wanted to define it even further. So I looked at Gen Z. These are people born between 1997 and 2012. These are people born in an age of digitization, which means they were born in an age of internet. And they are the most racially, ethnically, and sexually diverse generation in history. And they are more aware of problems and want to participate more actively in society, mainly through social media platforms. So I felt this connected to the importance, it emphasizes the importance of having a platform for people who are not well represented in media to be able to express themselves and also see themselves represented well. Then in terms of sustainability goals, I decided to look at the 10th one, reduce inequalities. I felt that amongst all of them, this was the most relevant, going back to the idea of empowerment and trying to and inclusivity and proper representation. Then a video from the NTU library I looked at for about 5 minutes was a video essay by Stuart Hall, who is a cultural theorist. It mainly highlights the idea that image plays a significant role in the way people think about the world and their place in it, again, connecting to the idea of identity and young people, and the importance of having proper representation again. And then my mood board, I continued with the idea I'm African, therefore I looked at different various media platforms that bring the African perspective into the global eye and media. I also tried to get a feel of aesthetics. And at this point, it informed what I wanted to do for my final outcome. And I decided to go with a magazine because I felt it would be more empowering to actually read and hear what people have to say and their stories, and also probably even explore photography with maybe a mini photography series, accentuating features and the Black experience and African experience. My artist that I decided to research was Angel Ntudi Esamba and Pierre Benu. First, starting with Angel. She is a Cameroonian photographer whose work she focuses on portraying women as powerful and rejects the traditional images of African women. For me, I really enjoyed looking at the techniques and the composition of her photographs, which I then explored through primary research, my own experimentation with that. So I tried to mimic some of the pictures that she did. And then the second artist I looked at was Pierre Benu. He uses humor, music, and creative tools to explore social norms, he also mainly uses multimedia. I liked the fun and playful manner that he uses to create his art. and also the composition of how, especially the way he emphasizes the African features, which again was an idea I could use in my photography series, and then also tried to explore it myself through photoshopping and editing with hues and playing with saturation. As a result, I tried to connect all the ideas and come up with a potential magazine template. I came up with a title from my magazine called Afro ID, Africa and Identity. This is short abbreviations, and then used the experiment that I did and edited it a bit more to create the cover. I also came up with a few potential layouts that would make sense in the magazine of how it would come with an article and how it would be represented. I also looked through my research and what the work I have done, the developmental work I have done, and I tried to collect colors and the theme and the feel and aesthetic that I felt would apply to this. And so these are the colors. Yeah, so moving on to finally my reflections, and I feel that from weeks 11 to 15, they were very interesting to see how one idea or one thought can really be developed and turn into something so great, and so interesting to do. Also, developing your analysis and researching skills. I felt that was very not impactful, but very informative for me. Based on the work that I've produced so far, I feel like it will help me in the coming weeks. And so and in the week 16 to 20, I hope to finalize my ideas with a mind map, like a specific theme and how I'm going to target it and what I need to do in particular. I also want to research further using books from the library and resources from VLE. I want to create a survey, like I said in the beginning, and send it out to my friends, to peers, to their friends' friends, to understand my audience better. I also want to interview someone who works in the media field in Africa, and then add it into my magazine. And then finally, I want to learn how to develop Photoshop skills and InDesign skills, so that I'm able to really achieve that aestheticism and the feel and look that I want my magazine to achieve. Thank you.